Good morning, everybody. Welcome to First United Methodist Church. I have a number of quick announcements to make today. Let me begin with asking if you would sign our attendance registration pad that should be in one of the aisle sides of our pews. Also, this announcement from Bob Cowgill: next Sunday, Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes, suggested items list, and boy-girl labels will be given out after each service. Filled boxes are to be returned by November 11th during the packing party in the Family Life Center. Again, November 11th. For more information, contact Bob Cowgill. Also, a few items here on our list. This first one does not appear, but today at 4 o'clock, Disciple Bible Study begins in the parlor. So please keep that in your mind, especially if you've signed up and have agreed to be at the class. Tuesday is a trustees meeting at 7. I am going to need to cancel Wednesday evening Bible study. If you're in that group or we're planning on coming, please note that. My mom has a doctor's appointment back in Weirton, and we want to keep that appointment. So no Bible study Wednesday evening. And looking ahead to next Sunday, right after our second service at about 1 o'clock, our charge conference will take place. Our district superintendent will be present. Everybody from church is invited to come. Mary Durham has an announcement. Mary, where are you? There you are. And do we have a microphone available? We do not. We need to, do you want to speak?
And Mary Growing was asking me, hello, if they were pretty true to size, and they are. They're a really nice shirt. We got them from the Sheltered Workshop or Seneca Design, whichever you want to call it. And I thought that if any of you women wanted them, that's what we wore for the retreat in September. And they would be nice if you worked the bazaars or anything like that. If you want them, we need to have the money in by next Monday so that I can get it all taken care of. Put it in an envelope, mark it First United Methodist Church Women. If you write a check, make it to First United Methodist Church Women, or whatever you want to do. If you don't want them, that's fine too. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements today that you would like to share? My friends, I invite you into worship as we seek God together.
Thank you, Gail and Martin Luther. Would you stand as you are able and join me for the call to worship? Our purpose is awesome. Let us worship God.
God is in his holy temple. Let all the earth be silent.
We do not come before God like frightened sheep,
but as those who are confident that they are wonderfully loved.
Our high priest is Jesus, tempted as we are, yet without sin,
Who is able to sympathize with our human weaknesses.
Let us, then, boldly draw near to the throne of grace, that we may be welcomed with mercy and obtain assistance in every moment of need. Let's join together for the morning hymn, number 365, Grace Greater Than Our Sin. Be seated. And would the children come forward for their time together?
Good morning. How are you all today? Good. So, have any of you ever been to the Community Arts Center before? Yeah? It's like on that main street over there, and it looks like an old church on the inside. Some of you have? So I went there yesterday and made this stained glass. Yeah, they were having a class, and I really love stained glass, and so I thought, well, I want to give that a try and see if I like doing that. I'm going to tell you how I did it, actually. And this piece right here took about 7 hours. That's a long time, isn't it? Yeah. So the first thing that we had to do, we got to pick out our pattern. The teacher had a couple of patterns, and we had to make a plan. And so we had to number all the different sections, and then we had to pick different colors for each section and make sure that we had everything planned out and organized before we started. And then we started to break the glass. And that sounds like it could be fun, but it was not very fun. I was very nervous breaking the glass. And sometimes it would break off into little pieces, and so you it's called scoring, and it's a little sharp wheel on the end of a stick, and you score the glass so it kind of makes a scrape in it. So then when you go to break it, it follows that scrape line, but it doesn't always follow the scrape line. And that was pretty frustrating. So sometimes I had to change my plan and use a different piece of glass, or I had to make the same piece over and over. But yeah, so then after we cut the glass, because all these different sections are different pieces, and you had to make them just the right size and just the right shape. So then after you break it and get the right shape, then you take it over to a machine called a grinder, and it's like a little box, and then it has a wheel on it, kind of has sandpaper on the wheel. And so you put the edge of the glass up to it, and it kind of smooths out the edge of the glass so it's not real jagged. So then all the pieces are smooth, and that's when you get to shape it up so it's even more of the right size. You won a hermit crab? That's great. Did you name him? You don't know if it's a girl or a boy? Does it have a name? Oh, well, very good. You'll have to let me know more about it later. It's pink? Cool, congratulations. So then, after we got all the pieces broken up and planned out, then we had to put this kind of foil stuff on the ends, and that wasn't too bad. But then we had to solder them together, and that's when mine got a little bit messy. My solder's a little bit thicker than it's supposed to be, but it was my first time, so I was still learning. But that is the end product. It's pretty, isn't it? Thank you. I had a lot of fun. And so when I was making this stained glass, it reminded me a lot of us. So God has a plan for each one of us, just like I had to make a plan to start my project. And then when I was breaking all the pieces, it also reminded me of how sometimes we might go through situations where we feel kind of broken and things might be kind of hard for us, or there might be times that you do something that you shouldn't, or you do something that kind of keeps you from having a relationship with God. And so when that happens, we feel kind of broken. Sometimes I feel kind of broken. But then when we ask Jesus into our hearts, He helps bring us back together to make something beautiful. So He takes all of our broken pieces and all of our little mistakes, and He kind of solders them back together with that plan that God has for us, and then we're made into something beautiful again. That's pretty cool. We do. We have lots of stained glass in the church. I bet it took a long time to make those. Two hermit crabs. Very good. Oh, okay. Oh. It is. That is true. They are cute. So maybe when you see our stained glass windows here in the church, you can remember all those little broken pieces, and that when we ask God, He brings all those little broken pieces back together and makes it something beautiful. So there's a plan for each one of our lives, and it is beautiful, just like a stained glass. So if you will bow your heads, please, we'll pray together. Dear God, please help us to get through the times we feel broken. And thank you that you have a plan for our lives to make us beautiful. Amen. Thank you. You can tell me upstairs. Now we'll go to children's church together.